Adjustment meeting. We'll begin with approval of last month's minutes. Do I hear a motion?
We need to amend the minute. Oh, you did? Okay.
My next door down neighbor's no longer in there.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Me.
Okay. Go ahead and swear in the,
Could everyone who signed in to speak stand, raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the statement you're making tonight to be the truth, to the best of your information and belief? Do. Thank you.
As a first reminder, please turn on your lights.
Guess mine's on. Is it working?
all right, so, first thing on the agenda has been postponed till next month.
Can we talk about that, or should we do it after he goes over the agenda? Over this Jackie Willoughby?
Yeah, and that's,
Application.
so we've had the request for 2 postponements
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
And so staff is comfortable with both postponements, but there might be some questions, and just wanted to make sure I was here to answer any questions.
Well, I've got some concerns on that. Of course, I didn't get my packet till yesterday. However, I did go to the office, I think Wednesday, pick mine up. I worked hours and hours and hours on this one application, studying it, talking to citizens and everything, and they wait till the last minute to postpone this. And I've got issues with that. So what can we do about it? Looks like we're gonna have to hear it again next month, Charlie.
Well, as of right now, then yes, obviously, something could come up, but yes.
Can it
And we've
come
talked
up
about
again?
this before, and we've got, for later on discussion, about putting it into our policies.
Yes.
Just how to handle these things. But at the moment, that is exactly how they've been handled for quite a few years. So, yes, ma'am, he would be on the agenda for August.
But it's my understanding that we can make a majority, like a motion, to ask for a final hearing, and at that hearing, if it's postponed, then it would move outside of ours.
I'm not sure I understand.
That if they don't show up again, like if we ask for a final hearing, like we do this third time that they're supposed to be here and they're not here, then it would maybe go to the circuit court or be heard by a different board.
No.
No?
No, if it goes to circuit court, it'll be because they've questioned whether or not you can refuse to hear them. And we just had that question, not in this particular circumstance. And I was shocked, and everybody was shocked, because the court said, yes, we got to hear it, even though it was substantially the same application. So I don't know that we want to put ourselves in that position, because then you fight it in court for 6 months, and then it ends up, at least in pretty good chance, of coming back here anyway. Now, once we have a policy in place,
Okay.
then we can treat it differently.
So we can make sure we're going to have a policy in place?
We'll be talking
That's
about that
discussion later tonight for the
later
board.
tonight.
Okay.
Okay. But just before we start working down the agenda, I just want to let you guys know about those 2 postponements, and then the conversation for later.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now, we're going to hear the 2026-18. We've moved it down to the bottom. So the first one would be S 2026-19 at 1976 Burton Pike. Okay,
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, what did you say about the first one?
we're moving it down to the bottom.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't catch that.
Instead of
All right.
A, it's going to be E.
Okay, thank you.
Right, good evening everyone. The first application is for a variance to reduce the front yard setback from 50 feet to 12 feet to allow the construction of a single family home. The site around is 1 acre, is zoned A1, and overall staff recommends approval of this request. Shown here is the aerial view of the property with the house marked in yellow. And here is the topography map. that shows the side slope towards the western side of the property due to the presence of Lyle's Fork Creek. So shown here is the flood hazard layer from FEMA that shows the flooding area on the site. And as you can see, half of the property towards the western portion is under those floodplain limits. The current house is accessed from Burton Pike via private driveway. The existing house measures approximately 12 feet from the front property line as seen on PVA and measures approximately 576 square feet. This is the picture of the current house from Google imagery, and as per the applicant, the structure currently is in a poor condition and considered unsafe for continued occupancy. The proposed house would sit next to the current house and would measure approximately 35 by 50 feet. So the existing residence is not served by public water or sanitary sewer services. However, WEDCO evaluated the site and determined that a suitable on-site septic system may be installed in the northern portion of the property, subject to the requirements of 902 KR Chapter 10 Regulation 85. So in reviewing this request, the board is reminded of the criteria outlined under KRS 100.243, which governs the granting of variances. Before any variance is granted, the board must find that the variance will not affect public health, safety or welfare. It will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity. It will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and it will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of zoning regulation. The board also must determine that the request is based on unique site conditions, that the strict application of the zoning regulations would create an unnecessary hardship or deprive reasonable use of the property, and the hardship was not created by the applicant. So as per the staff's review, the staff finds that the requested variance is supported by the property's limited size and floodplain constraints. As you can see in the map, with the limited lot size of 1 acre, application of the required 50-foot front yard setback would leave little to no practical area for construction of a new residence outside the floodplain limits, which would create an unnecessary hardship for the applicant. And these conditions are inherent to the property and were not created by the applicant. In terms of findings, again, the project site is a 1 acre parcel zoned A1, which requires minimum 50-foot setback from all property lines. The property is currently developed with an existing single-family residence located approximately 12 feet from the front property line. The applicant proposes to construct a replacement single-family residence measuring approximately 35 feet by 50 feet in line with the existing structure. A substantial portion of the property is located within the flood zone area associated with Lyle's Fork Creek, reducing the available building area on site. The existing residence is reported to be unsafe for continued occupancy and lacks water and sewer utility services. The limited lot size and floodplain constraints constitute the site-specific circumstances not generally applicable for surrounding A1 properties. And the requested variance from 50 feet to 12 feet represents the minimum relief necessary to accommodate the proposed residence while avoiding encroachment into the floodplain area. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the variance to reduce the required front yard from 50 feet to 12 feet at the subject property, with standard conditions of approval as stated in the staff report, with an additional condition number 6 that requires the proposed residence to be located outside of the mapped FEMA floodplain unless otherwise approved by applicable local, state and federal agencies. Does the board have any questions for the staff?
Any questions?
I'd like to hear just from the
Yeah.
applicant
Mm-hmm.
or the representative. talk
Be the
to us.
representative.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Keith Roark, and this current home belongs to two elderly ladies that are 84 and 77. They've lived there since 1975. No running water, no sewage, no heat and air. The home's been deemed pretty much unsafe now. The floors are buckled. A medic fell through the floor going in to take one of the ladies to the hospital. So I got a phone call asking if we could help them. When I looked at the home, it's beyond repair. It's a waste of time to try to repair it. So our proposal is to go in and build them a new home. The current is about 575 square feet. We want to move it up to 600 square feet with all amenities, including the septic, running water, heat and air. The current home is not on a foundation of any kind, just a slab, I believe. We will be putting on a concrete and block foundation. So it will be elevated even a little more than what it is on that property. But the only way, I guess, this home must have been grandfathered in at some point. So it sounds like we need that variance to be able to put them a new home. And they literally have nowhere to go. So this is our plan to try to get moving on this as quickly as we can.
So both ladies are still living there now?
They were living, but one of the two was taken out to the hospital, and that was when the medic went through the floor. They will not let her return home until she has a safe
But
place to live.
They left the other one there?
Why would they
The other
do
one's there.
that?
I did not even question
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I think it was just because maybe the one that went to the hospital was a little worse off physically than the one that's still living there.
So we just let the other one go through the floor next?
Well, we're going to try to prevent that.
Okay, but
When-
you don't
when you
have
say-
any personal interest in it, it's through your church?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes. Well, I'm project manager, so I'll
Okay.
be overseeing everything.
So these ladies go to your church?
No. I don't know if they attend anywhere here in Georgetown. That's just what we do. We have teams of volunteers that we work together. Our next project, when we finish this one, we'll be doing a home in Frankfurt for homeless veterans. So we just kind of got projects that keep us busy.
Any further questions?
Terry?
I have so many questions. Wedco said that it was okay to put it where it's going, but it's a FEMA flood zone.
Wedco came out after all that horrendous rain we had a few weeks ago, and within a day, that property was dried. And they've been there since '75, and she's never had water in
In
that
where
home.
they are right now.
Never had water
But when
in
I
there.
look at the map, it looks like it encroaches more where you're gonna put it.
I don't know, honestly. You can see a little black dot right about where the light brown square is up here on the
I
picture.
love
That's where
that
the house
they're
is.
potentially gonna have a new home. My concern is the one that she's in, and like, should she be removed? And then you put it where it currently is, because you know that one hasn't flooded, like you said. I don't know that you're speaking to like what it can do.
We went out last week and looked at the property. There's probably not much more from bottom to top, from the creek up, more than a 6-inch edge of elevation. And she's never had water in there since 1975 in the house. I know the creeks get high, but she said the house has never flooded. It will be close enough to that dwelling that's there now
Toshi, do you have a
to
topography map?
hopefully be able to keep it out of any water.
Well, y'all tearing the other building down?
If that's required, we will, yes. And I think it's safer because I really don't want her going back in it for sentimental reasons or whatever. So we plan to take that one down. And this one will be close enough to that one because we intend to allow her, she has nowhere to go. So we want to let her live in that one and move as quickly as we can to get a new home in place and get her moved into that.
So you're basically saying she's going to be living while you're building. So we need to add that to the conditions of approval, or whatever, that she'd be living in the house while you constructed the new home.
Okay. Yeah, she had a large number of pets as well, so it's hard to ask any landlord to allow a bunch
She
of pets to
rents
come in
this
for
home?
1 or 2 months. No, she's the owner of the home. She's the owner of this home, but for
Oh, you're
us to
saying to
if we had to
relocate the animals.
relocate her temporarily.
I'm more worried about a human life, honestly, if there's a hole people are falling in.
It's such a small project, it's not gonna take that long for us
Is
to
there
get
not
in and do
emergency
it.
That's what I
housing
was
for
gonna
that?
ask. What is your projected completion date?
2 to 3 months, start
2
to
to 3
finish,
months.
yes, ma'am. Hopefully even sooner than that, because I'm currently putting together our current crews work about 9 to 4, so I want a second crew to work 5 to 8 each night and just try to keep it rolling so we can get it done a little faster. Where this is all with volunteer labor and donated materials, and only 2 items left are a septic system and a heat and air system. And once we got that, we've got everything we need to get this home built.
I've never been on septic, been blessed like that, I guess, and I don't know, but like if that floods where that septic is,
You know, her-
okay,
It's all enclosed.
okay.
Charlie, you have any concerns on it or anything?
No, it sounds like we need to approve it and get it done quickly.
I like the way you think, Charlie.
But I want a condition that we tear the old one down. Do you all agree?
He says he's gonna tear, you said you're gonna tear it.
If it's
down.
required,
Yeah.
if it's required,
it's
we will take it
required.
down.
Did I read somewhere
They
that's
can't
gonna
have
be
2
used for
dwellings
storage?
on a lot this size,
That's
so
right.
it is required.
Okay, thank you,
Okay, there
Charlie.
you go.
I'm
That's-
sorry, what was your question?
I thought I read somewhere in the staff report, it was gonna be used for storage.
No, well, we had told them that we could leave it for storage,
Okay.
but she really doesn't have a lot of equipment or
Okay.
anything, so
Okay.
it would probably be safer to just take it down to keep anybody from going back in there.
I'd feel better with that, okay.
Chairman Cooper, if I may,
Yes.
that is, 1 second, I apologize. That's condition number 4, that the applicant shall obtain the applicable permits from the building inspection office for the conversion of the existing residence into an accessory structure. With the testimony that we just received, I would just recommend that the applicant shall obtain the applicable permits from the building inspection office for the demolition of the existing residence.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to be clear, you're saying that to go ahead and take it down? That's not a problem. We got a
I don't know,
bulldozer on.
going in there to get storage
Yeah,
stuff
we got a
out.
bulldozer on site, we can fix that.
Okay, do we have any motions?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Are you adding any conditions?
Just what Charlie said.
What
Charlie said
staff recommend?
building has to be gone, the old building.
Got that, Charlie?
Yes, but just to make it clear, we'll add that to the motion.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll second.
Okay,
and
have a
we'll
second.
use your language.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
I'm sorry, who seconded? Thank
Janet.
you.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Can we get like a board over the hole? A board over the hole while she's in here.
Okay, the next one is S 2026-20 at 535 Craig's Lane. Applicant is Neil and Melissa Little. We-
All right, so the next application is for a variance again to reduce the northern side yard setback from 50 feet to 25 feet for the construction of a storage garage. The site is around 5 acres, is zoned A1 and is accessed from Craig Lane. Overall, staff recommends denial of this request. Shown here is the aerial view of the property, which consists of a house, a barn, and few paddocks for horses, along with fencing towards the rear portion of the property. Here is the topography map that shows the site slightly slopes towards the front portion of the property from west to east. As per the application request, the proposed structure will measure approximately 30 feet by 36 feet and is proposed to be located approximately 25 feet from the northern property line. According to the applicant, the requested variance is necessary due to long and narrow configuration of the property. existing structures and overhead electric lines as seen in the image. The applicant also states that the proposed location would provide direct access from the existing driveway while preserving green space and landscaping on the property. Here is another aerial view for the better understanding of the site. The criteria is under KRS 100.243 as mentioned previously. As shown in staff's independent dimensional review, the proposed storage building is located near the existing driveway. However, substantial undeveloped area remains on the site that could accommodate the structure while meeting the required 50 feet setback. Although existing site features influence the preferred building location, staff finds that these are common characteristics of agricultural properties and do not constitute unique site conditions. Because reasonable alternative locations appear available, staff finds that strict application of the setback does not deprive the applicant of reasonable use of the property, and the requested variance does not satisfy the findings required under KRS 100.243. Here are some of the pictures from the site as submitted by the applicant.
I know, I'm not one.
So in terms of findings again, the project site is a 5-acre parcel zoned A1 with an existing single-family residence, driveway, barn, fencing and associated residential developments. The applicant proposes to construct a 30 by 36 feet detached storage garage for RV storage and requests to reduce the required northern side yard setback from 50 feet to 25 feet. The applicant states that the property's layout limits the placement of the proposed structure. Staff finds that these conditions are common to agricultural properties in the A1 zoning, and staff does not find the request demonstrates the unique circumstances or unnecessary hardship. In conclusion, staff recommends denial of the variance to reduce the required northern side yard setback from 50 feet to 25 feet at the subject property. Should the board approve the application, staff recommends including the standard conditions of approval as stated in the staff report. Staff would also like to inform the board that we did receive a letter of support from the neighboring property to the north at 509 Craig Lane.
You had no neighbors or phone calls or concerns from any of the surrounding neighbors?
No.
That were opposing it?
No.
Hey, the electrical is okay, right?
Yeah, it's on the backside of it.
Okay, is Neil or Melissa Little here? Would y'all like to add to it?
If we may, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Toshi, and thank you all for giving us the opportunity to get up here and talk with you tonight. Just like to start off by saying, sorry, I'm Neil and Missy Little. I'd like to start off by saying we preferred to not even go through this whole process. We tried to find alternative places to do this in our property before we ever approached the staff about getting the variance. We just really feel like, based on our property, this was the only suitable, best place for it. So we are considered, as she said, agricultural zone, and we're surrounded by farming neighbors, and we have, as she said, a letter of support from 509, and that's the one that it would be the closest to them. In the one picture, it shows the roll of trees, and it was so lush right there. That's where the garage would back up to, and just to me, it's just the perfect placement for it because the other side we have more green space and it's more open to the horse pastures and stuff. So with that being said, we've spoke to each one of our neighbors. We spoke to all the neighbors around us, and none of those opposed. We talked to each one of them, and none of them opposed. We requested a letter from the one only just because we figured that was the one that was most effective. So you know, we are part of an agricultural community. Neighbors to the left have horses and recently had a lot of cattle.
Dr. Sutton,
I'm sorry?
Dr. Sutton?
Yes, yes. And then our neighbors to the right, they have a horticultural farm. Neighbors behind us have cattle and horses, and then the neighbor across the road, he farms and does hay. And so, you know, it's just maybe 5 acres, but it's kind of our little farm, and we just really like it. It's really what we sought out because we wanted to bring our horses with us when we moved here 5 years ago, and we just really liked the whole aspect of that and giving us the room. So the staff analysis, anything you want to add to that? Okay. The staff analysis determined that we met 2 of the 4 criteria.
But 2 we did not.
But 2, yes, thank you. But 2 we did not. And if we could, Toshi,
So we just kind of want to address
if we could,
that.
Toshi, you had the one picture with the proposal and then the 50-foot, I guess,
The
the
one that
50-foot
shows the
billboard.
50-foot setback all around the property.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Oh, he's still
Oh,
talking.
we're not finished.
He's
Oh, that's
still
okay.
talking.
No, I'm sorry, but yeah, I do have a few more things, if that's okay. I know we got a lot to go through, you all do, so just real quick. I know that as far as the special circumstances, the staff analysis stated that there's nothing really, the conditions common to our agricultural properties that do not constitute unique circumstance, but we really and truly believe that it does just because of the narrowness of our lot. It's 255 foot wide, and it's long and rectangular, so with the 50-foot setback on each side, it just leaves us 150 feet, and then our house is pretty much centered on that. And to us, with our driveway coming in and just over there tucked to the one corner, we just felt like it was really the best based on the layout. And so we built our house basically upon we built it 5 years ago upon the builder's suggestion of where, as far as drainage, like she said, it slopes toward the front, it slopes a little bit toward the back, so that was the high point, and we built it kind of upon his recommendation there.
So if we put the garage at the 50-foot setback, then it infringes, it's too close to the house. And we've got some,
So yeah, so that's the 25-foot mark. The little red box, I guess, is at the 25-foot variance. As you can imagine, the 50-foot, of course, is going to push it over almost to the corner of our house. And then we have on the center of the fence, that's our horse pasture, our 2 paddocks, and our barn. It would really restrict access back to that back area, and we get hay in, and we go back there to tend to our animals and get our horse trailer. And it would just really restrict us from that area if we were to move that over. And so that's where we're at with that. And then we did know that said overhead electrical lines. Those are all underground electrical lines that run through there. We have a main service that actually comes all the way around to the back side, to almost where the 23 is, close to the driveway, around the back of our house. And then it's also underground going to our barn from the main service.
So when you get hay and feed delivered, that's not gonna be in the way?
So it will not
Like,
at
what's
the
your all's
25 foot, it's not.
Okay.
But we can come in beside, because that's where we keep our camper now. The one picture you saw where our camper sits there anyway.
sitting there right now.
So we come up our driveway and there's a gate about midways in between all that blue fence, that blue line, and we go in through there, and then we have, either my trailer or a big gooseneck trailer, and it pulls in there and backs into our barn, which has a lock.
There's a gate right there, kind of.
That's what I was, that's what I was asking, Jana. I was like, how are they gonna do that?
If the garage was pushed over for the 50-foot setback, we would have to maneuver around it to get to the gate, to get to the back
So
area. It's gonna cause a problem.
This relieves you all from that?
Yes,
Problem.
yes, it would. And the barn was there, the fencing was there when we bought the property. We would not chose for the barn to be right there in the middle as well. It's kind of like right behind our house.
But it was already there. It was existing, and all the fencing was existing as well.
And then real quick, and we'll try to get through this because I know y'all got a lot to cover. The other thing that they said we didn't have, that we had substantial undeveloped area beyond the proposal. And we didn't feel like that because we feel like, as the picture shows, that to us that is developed area for our animals and for our livestock. And back there with our barn, And with all that back there, that's, like I said, that's just really important to us.
Well, the character of that area, most people don't have their accessory, what structures on the front end of their property, so.
Right.
Is that what your all's intention is?
Our
Is to, like,
intention is not to be in-
out of sight?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not to be in front of our house. So basically, right where the camper's sitting at right now, maybe a little bit forward, but that's kind of like a back turnaround spot right there at the end of the driveway. And it would be beyond that.
Yeah, that red box at the end of the driveway, there's already a turnaround there, and that's where we're proposing to put the site. And the staff analysis said that we had substantial other areas that we could put it, but we don't feel that that is correct.
So-
Because they are developed for agriculture and for our horses and our pasture and our use of the land and farming.
And on the other side of our house is our septic, our electrical, and our leach lines and distribution tank and everything's on that side of the house.
And if we put it on the other side, we would have to construct a whole nother driveway, which would mean more concrete, take away from our farming,
Our
pasture
green
land
space.
and our green space.
Yeah,
And that's just real important to us.
Yeah, we just really hate to lose our farmland and our green space and our trees. We'd have to cut a lot of trees and stuff if we were to put it in the proposed spot and maybe behind that. But
Well, we couldn't do that
because of the fencing and the horses. But I'm just saying if it comes to that, that's
So
just
you
not,
all don't want
it's
it.
not really an option for us.
You don't want it attached to the barn because the barn, you think it would bother the horses to have that in there?
Well,
Some people, will put it
right,
on
and we looked into that and we tried to figure out how we could make that work.
Okay.
And it just really wouldn't. It just really wouldn't work for this because the barn has got like the side barn is what the opening, and that's like it's like a lean-to or
That's
like
what
an
I
opening
meant, yeah.
style, and that's what's on that side. We tried to just utilize our barn for the camera, but it
And
was.
the barn's not tall enough.
And it's not tall enough.
Okay.
And it's not
Yeah.
tall
I don't
enough
have a
for the
picture
camera.
of it, so, sorry, I don't have a picture of it, so I didn't know what it was like.
Yeah, I see.
We should have taken a picture of the barn.
No,
I didn't
it's
think about
okay.
that.
Yeah, we didn't take a picture
I'm
of it. I
asking you.
apologize. Yeah. Anything
I
else?
don't have a
Okay,
problem.
any further questions?
Nope.
I'm not sure it's finished yet.
I think I cut into what he was saying. It might be more.
So I guess final,
Do you
just
have
final,
anything
just final
else?
conclusion
Okay.
is we just feel like it's the least imposing and most reasonable place for the garage. And we just, our green space and our animals are so important to us, we just really hate to infringe upon that. Anything else?
I mean, we do want to protect our camper.
Yeah,
That's why we
yeah,
want to do
and
it, or
that.
we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And also because the driveway's already there, and it would be an ease, I don't know if any of y'all have a camper, but maneuvering it around and things like that,
Yeah.
it just makes sense. It's just reasonable to put it there. So that's why we're asking.
Very good.
All right, thank you all.
Tommy, I'm saying Charlie, I'm a woman, I look at things a little bit different than men do sometimes.
Oh, a whole lot different, yes,
But
ma'am.
you've had to put up with me on this
How
commission
dare
for
you
20
be so
years.
outspoken.
But I really don't see a problem with this. Do you see anything that stands out?
Well, I guess the main thing I'd say is, you're the board.
Yes.
Now, legally, no, there's not anything particularly wrong one way or the other. You're the board, and if you determine that, for example, plenty of undeveloped areas to put it, well, if you determine that those farming areas where they have horses and whatnot, hay, that is developed, that is in use, well, then that changes the dynamic a little bit.
And everybody knows that if you're gonna build something, you wanna put it pretty much where you wanna put it, as long as it's legal.
And where it works.
That's
Yeah,
where
where
it
it
works.
works, exactly.
Now, but if you decide to make a motion to approve, then add that to your motion, that this is maybe the only reasonable place for it, that the narrowness of the lot, for example, militates for this area.
Well, I'm familiar with where they live, and them trying to preserve agriculture like we're trying to do supposedly in this county. I take that.
Put that in your motion,
Yeah.
if you do.
You remember that.
Chair Cooper, if I could just add one other thing.
Sure.
In defense of staff's recommendation. Just understand that the desire to protect the camper is noble, and we want them to do that. But the permanent structure that would be constructed closer to the setback than what would otherwise be allowed is going to last a lot longer than the camper. And if we create this nonconformity, That nonconformity will run with the land. In addition to that, I understand the argument that that's where the driveway is, but the driveway is there because it's different from a structure. And the driveway was not constructed with that 50-foot setback in mind at time of construction. And so, again, there are lots of driveways and setbacks all over Scott County. That's not unique to this property. There are lots of properties that are 5 acres that are between 275 and 250 on the back end inside Scott County. And we're looking, of course, for the, the enjoyment of the property. But I would just caution against saying, well, this is easier for them versus upholding the spirit of the ordinance.
Yeah, but it doesn't impede anything. Oh, wasn't impeding.
And I mean, I don't
The-
think that it's just easier also. I think we presented our case for using it agriculturally, which is why we wanted 5 acres in Scott County to farm our land.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and again, in this circumstance, we would, as staff, just look to the ordinance or the KRS as it stands. The assumption is not whether or not it's hurting somebody or impeding somebody, but if this is necessary for the enjoyment of the property. And again, Toshi went over it, and staff just doesn't see it that way. But
You all use the front, like the front part of the property for hay or grazing or?
We use it for
Use it for grazing for the horses sometimes. And this is our neighbor also. He came. You gonna introduce yourself, please?
Do I need to swear in, Charlie?
Yeah.
I'm not going to believe you anyway.
Oh, okay,
Do you
that's
swear or
fine.
affirm?
I do affirm, yes. Chairman Cooper, may I speak?
Sure. Okay.
First of all, my name is Chad Wallace. I live across from the Littles. I want to let you know I appreciate all you all do. I just wanted to come up here in support of what the Littles are proposing. If there was a problem, they'd have called me. I promise you that. And actually, I get lots of calls about adjustments all the time. But we deal with this stuff and address that. And so we try not to bring that to you. But I just came up here in support and also to verify what they do. They do have their horses grazing out in the front, and they are using that. And we are in Scott County currently doing what Ms. Holland said. We are trying to look at playing the zoning ordinances to preserve farmland in Scott County. They farm. They're supplemental farmers. I cut hay off people to the right. They do horticulture. George Sutton to the left, he's a veterinarian. He has horses. So it is kind of an area of farming, and all they're trying to do is try to maximize the amount of land that they can use to graze their horses. So I'm saying that in support, as well as I have seen that and verified that they are doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Charlie, it goes back to what I say often. Taking into consideration there's ordinances that we need to abide by.
Correct.
At the same time, that's why we have this Board of Adjustment, sometimes to deviate from that. I try to take each individual application on its own merit, and this is one of those times that I feel like that this is justified, that we can approve
Do you
this.
all have paddock fencing out front?
We don't, we just let our horses out, and they're just good horses. And they
They're
don't.
old and they're not going in.
Okay, because I'm like, hold
We're
up.
gonna close that.
Yeah.
So if you can see, and I'm not sure that you can, but there's 2 pedestals on the side of our driveway in that picture toward the road. We're going to fence that in, we just haven't done so yet. We're just trying to,
Okay, because I was like, I asked you if you put them out front, and I'm like, I don't see fencing.
yeah.
I
So
saw
it's-
fencing a long time.
It's all fenced in along the sides, but it's not fenced in on the front yet.
I would just like to add that the staff does acknowledge the narrow lot layout of the property, but it does meet the minimum 250 lot width requirement of the A1 zone, and which is typical of the A1 zoning district, and it's not a special or unique circumstance for this property.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Subject to
Oh,
the staff
subject.
report.
Yes,
Yeah.
staff recommendation.
Okay, good luck.
Just to clarify,
Understanding a motion's been made, it might be beneficial for the record to have some sort of findings tied to the motion since you're going against staff.
I think that's what we just talked about, Charlie. Agriculture was a consideration, preservation.
That gentleman made the motion, so why don't you all discuss and see if that's going to be added to the motion?
Yeah, that'd be fine, yeah.
And you're gonna use that agriculture in the front for pasture.
And as our neighbor says, we do let our horses out every day. They just don't run off the road, and then we move them back there every night. Usually we haul around and they go back to their backfield.
Okay, so we've already voted on it, and we've amended had an amendment. So everybody agrees
State
with
that they are using the entire property for farming and you're preserving
That's
farming.
exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If I drive out there and I see that there's
You
like.
come by about 6:30, 7 o'clock, you see the horses.
Okay.
Okay, everybody agrees with that?
We done voted, so we're
Okay.
ready to move on.
Yep. All right, so we're moving on to S 2026-21 at 267 Anderson Road, Zachary Jones. If staff will go ahead and make the presentation.
Snickers, Charlie.
I need one badly.
One little green space at a time.
Alright, so this application is for a variance again to reduce the required southern side yard setback from 50 feet to 14 feet for the construction of an attached garage. The site is around 1 acre, is zoned A1 and is accessed from Anderson Road. Overall, staff recommends denial of this request but approval of 23 feet setback. Shown here is the aerial view of the property, which is developed with a single family residence, and the topography map showing the site slopes from east to west. As per the applicant, the proposed addition consists of an approximately 8 by 16 foot walk-through mudroom and an approximately 24 by 32 feet attached garage, which is intended for vehicle parking and personal storage. And this addition would be attached to the southern side of the existing residence. As illustrated in the image, there are electric lines which restrict development within the eastern portion of the property, and staff does acknowledge that the lack of available space to the north and therefore the proposed
Go get the
addition
magistrate.
can reasonably and therefore the proposed addition can be reasonably accommodated only on the southern side of the existing residence. The applicant further states that the project site is an undersized lot of approximately 1 acre, which is significantly smaller than the typical 5-acre A1 parcel found throughout Scott County. Based on these conditions, the applicant proposes to locate the addition on the southern side yard of the residence and with the 14 feet setback instead of the 15 feet. So in terms of KRS 100.243, staff's independent review determined that the existing residence is located approximately 55 feet from the southern property line based on both PVA records and Eagle View aerial mapping. Staff did receive information for the applicant indicating the distance is approximately 44 feet. However, no certified survey plan was submitted to verify this measurement. Therefore, staff relied on the available mapping resources in evaluating the requested variance. So the proposed addition extends approximately 32 feet towards the southern property line. While these site constraints justify some setback relief, staff finds that the requested 14-foot setback exceeds the minimum necessary, and staff concludes the addition can reasonably be accommodated with an approximately 23-foot southern side yard setback while maintaining greater compliance with the zoning ordinance. In terms of findings again, the project site is in approximately 1 acre parcel zone A1, which is substantially smaller than the typical 5 acre A1 parcels found throughout Scott County. The applicant proposes construction of an approximately 8 by 16 foot walk-through mudroom and approximately 24 by 32 foot attached garage connected to the existing residence.
1 acre.
The project site contains several site-specific constraints that limit opportunities, making the southern side of the residence the most feasible location for the proposed addition. While staff finds some setback relief is warranted, the requested 14-foot setback is greater than necessary, and staff recommends an approximately 23-foot southern side yard setback as the minimum relief needed. Overall, staff recommends denial of the variance to reduce the southern side yard setback from 50 feet to 14 feet at the subject property. And based on the site conditions, staff believes that a reduced southern side yard setback of approximately 23 feet may allow reasonable use of the property, subject to conditions as stated in the staff report.
Okay, any questions for the staff?
So we have not received any phone calls opposing the application, and we have also received a letter of support from property owner 261 Anderson Road, which is towards the south side of this property.
Thank you. Is anyone here to speak? Zachary Jones? Like to add to anything to it?
First of all, thank you all. My name is Zachary Jones, the applicant. The only issue that we really wanted to address is we do not agree with the 23-foot. I'm sorry. We were wanting to bring to light the 23-foot measurement found by the staff. We did have that southern line surveyed by Heath Land Surveying, Kentucky PLS 4648, I believe. And after measuring, having that southern line ran, the actual measurement to our property line is 44 feet. So the 23-foot setback would not be sufficient for our proposed construction. So while we do understand the recommendation by the staff from the Eagle aerial mapping, measuring 55 feet, the land survey was showing otherwise. We're just trying to make sure that this proposed construction was maintains compliance. We did not have the full plat completed due to, at the beginning of the project, we were unaware of the A1 zoning of our property, and due to the other constructions in our area, we just wanted to make sure that we weren't impeding. When we finally went to get the permits done and everything, that's when the contractor notified us. We contacted Toshi and started this whole process. So our only ask is that we would like to
Staff
uphold.
had the survey though that you had done?
We shared the invoice. The only plat that the survey company was able to come up with was from 1969, which shows our the property lines as well as property measurements that do have a variance to what the Eagle View was showing. According to, would you mind pulling up the Eagle View? Yeah, according to the Eagle View, it sets our property at 126 feet north to south, 315 east to west. But the plat shows 130 feet as well as, well, I can't, was it? 335, I'm sorry.
So that changes the dynamic of what you all had worked on, right? You all were working on other numbers for your recommendation, correct?
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
I think as the applicant just pointed out, his numbers are actually larger than what we were
Right.
going off of. And so staff's recommendation would be substantially similar.
Okay.
We're again seeking the least amount of variance necessary to facilitate.
So the one focus we wanted to highlight is the fact that the 55 feet is not existent. The property line, we did include several photos of the marked property. The markers are still up, actually, that were not shared. I don't know if you all want to see them or not. You can notice in the photo, the black circle shows the utility pole, which is actually part of the property line. It is not. The property line shown in the Eagle View is quite a ways into my neighbor's property, who's actually here, Chuck.
From the property line, this one.
Would you all like to see?
Okay, so your width was what?
I'm sorry?
What was the width of the property?
Of the property, according to the old plat, 130.
What did she say the number was for the 315 instead of 315?
335.
335.
He has an image of the plat
Yeah.
if you all would like to see it.
Yeah.
So it's 335, though, 130.
Yeah.
Is that what it
Yes.
is?
That's what I was trying to get. It was like
But
the length.
the original plat, when it was done in 1969, does not show the location of the home.
Okay.
It was not built at that time. This was from when they parceled it up, I'm assuming.
So this
Matters is where the home
That's
is
right.
compared to that property.
That's right.
Hey, does staff have any further questions? Does the
Well,
board have
let's
any
say-
further questions?
If I could, while you're all looking at that, all right, you said that the survey you got makes the 23 feet inaccurate or not correct.
Yes.
Now, could you explain that again? Because I was trying to take notes and I did not catch all that.
The surveyed line, there's a lot of discrepancy between the surveyed line versus what we are measuring.
So
off
where the
of.
property line is shown here and what
Yes.
your survey showed is different?
Correct.
All right, so where it shows then the 55 feet from the property line to the house, what does your survey say that it is?
44 feet.
Okay, that's where
I
was.
measured it
That's what
with
matters.
the tape.
Okay, so
off the
44
survey.
feet, so
Okay.
Care about anything else.
Then
you're
that-
actually, you're saying that you
Doesn't
believe
work.
you're
Yeah.
11 feet
It's 44
closer
feet.
Yes.
to the property line than you thought you were?
Yes, and I have photos of the,
Holden, you
of the
said
property
though,
line
it
that
doesn't change your all's
we
recommendation.
still have the stakes up today.
Oh, thank you.
Any further questions of, for Mr. Jones?
He's looking for something.
Yeah, Holden's.
If I could, so if it's 10 foot closer, they're requesting down to 14.
Charlie.
10 foot closer would be 24 unless I'm just missing some of the math
Charlie.
there. Again, it's of the board's discretion, as Ms. Holland pointed out.
Right.
We are just looking for the least amount of variance necessary to facilitate the use. And understanding again that the applicant has requested a particular building layout to meet their needs. But that is not necessarily the only solution to the applicant's needs.
I was
So-
making sure that that didn't change what you all knew or needed to know to give us recommendations.
The recommendation is still to
That's-
deny, and then if it's so chooses the board, you guys can figure out what the necessary.
I think that changes it to 44. That's like 6 feet. I think so.
Charlie, you see any problems?
Mr. Helms, did you have something to add to that?
Yes.
If the landowner,
Are you signed up to speak?
He's
Yes,
sworn
I'm
in.
Charles Helms. Myself and my wife Rhonda, we reside at 261 Anderson Road. We're neighbors to the Joneses. And we see no problem with this. If you go out there, there's structures everywhere. I know it's an A1, but part of it goes back and says, why is it still considered A1? It's residence out there now. There is farmland behind me. We talk about the utility line goes right over, almost over top of my swimming pool. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But it's not going to impede on us whatsoever.
whose
And I question-
building is that? Whose building is
Which
that?
one?
This one?
That's ours?
It is, okay.
Yeah, and that line is nowhere, is not right.
Okay,
It's way off.
okay,
Because I
okay.
have a 46-inch mower and I make 5 paths going down through there mowing. Our lines go in, and their survey shows it. It goes at an angle. And that big tree stump you see right there, that's where the line off of the survey pretty much goes. I understand what, and I appreciate you as a board, I appreciate the planning commission, but all they're trying to do is just make their place better. And there's houses out there that's got the same thing. I've got a garage,
So do I.
but it was put there in the 60s. And there's no, and all it's gonna do is help them, help their property value, help everybody around there. And there's not that many homes out there in that section. So I just speak as their next door neighbor that we have no problem with this. We support them 100%, and that's all I can say. Thank you.
No, it's separate, separate.
Mr. Holmes, how many acres is your property?
1 acre.
1 acre. So most of them through there is 1 acre lots?
Those on, yes, sir. Those on the side where we live, those are 1 acre. Then the ones across the street are half acre.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Charlie, you have anything you need to add to it?
Other than confusion, I mean, Holden is correct. We are trying to minimize where a variance is appropriate. Our job is also to minimize that. It's not, you prefer all the way to 14, but if you get reasonable use of your property at 20, then we should be approving 20. Obviously, there's all sorts of different conditions here, such as a survey that says
Right.
the lines are wrong. Well, perhaps what we need to do, though, is then get that formal survey written up, submitted, so that staff sees where the lines really are,
That's what I was
as opposed to, this is what it looks like, and so on. We want to be using real lines, too.
Could that have been done prior to this meeting?
Did you
Well,
all
no,
just get that?
We, like I said, we only had the one line ran because we weren't aware of the A1 zoning. So
But you didn't share it with the staff?
they don't do a full plat unless you do all the,
So the surveyor you got done, you're the side closest to your neighbor.
yes, we just did the
And
south
you do have
side.
that down, and that's right.
Yeah,
So he
well,
does have a survey.
I have photos
Yeah,
if
they
you want
did-
to
they
see it,
didn't
but
have
we
Yeah,
don't have
he's
it.
got it.
We sent
They
the
should have
invoice.
access.
What, Toshi?
Shouldn't the planning office have
Line's
access?
already there, it's already been
He's got to
surveyed.
give it to him. That's what he said. He didn't realize.
But why don't they have? can they
Prior.
go in and find it
That's
to
what I
verify?
thought.
That's what we have all that.
We don't need a
Yes.
In the
plan, we
GIS
just need the
system.
survey.
When-
Yeah, but, and he's saying it is not correct in this
When we
particular
heard,
instance.
saw the denial, I didn't know that we had not sent the,
Have you already started
That's
construction?
a
No, we
staff
have not.
recommendation, I didn't know.
How about a suggestion? Because number one, staff needs to see the most accurate information. And if he's got a survey that shows our number is not correct,
That's
then
what-
perhaps give that information to staff, bring this thing back next month, and you make a decision based on what the actual numbers are. If it proves that we are wrong, then we can make that correction. They can make
No, I don't
whatever change to the recommendation. If that survey is not correct, well, then they can do whatever they need to do. But we need to know that we're looking at the actual numbers and they are correct before we make any kind of decision. Because as Holden pointed out earlier,
I agree with
once you
you,
make
Charlie.
a variance, that runs with the land.
Yeah.
That's there forever.
It wasn't intentional that you kept it, you just didn't know to
No, no,
share
no,
it, I'm
no.
assuming?
So I
We had
make
it,
a motion,
I'm sorry, it was surveyed on June 5th.
Yeah.
Back, when we, right as we were applying for this variance request.
Would you be okay with this being postponed so that we can go out and take a look at the tape measure, see 44 feet and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Which,
Yeah, I
that's,
think
that's
it'd be
what
very
my
helpful.
motion was going to be. Yeah,
Yeah, is that not Mr. Cooper's motion?
yes, that's what my motion was going to be, yes.
To postpone. Motion to postpone, right?
Yes.
And who's the second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Thank you.
That was, I'm sorry if I zoned out, unanimous.
Okay, the next one's S 2026-22, 4164 Newtown Pike for Joel and Jennifer Beagle.
We didn't need to share information.
So this application is for the variance to reduce the northern side yard setback from 50 feet to 10 feet and the rear yard setback from 50 feet to approximately 13 feet for the construction of a shop. The site is again around 1 acre, is zone A1 and is accessed from Newton Pike. Overall, staff recommends denial of this request. Here is the aerial view of the property with the residence measuring approximately 40 by 65 feet. And the topography map of the site showing the slopes.
Oh. Drives me nuts.
So as seen in the image, the shop is approximately 32 by 50 feet and is proposed towards the rear portion of the property with the requested setbacks. Very similar to the previous case, the applicant states that the proposed location is necessary due to the limited size of the 1.13 acre parcel and the presence of septic tank and existing trees. Here are some of the survey plans and drawings of the proposed shop submitted by the applicant. So in terms of KRS 100.243, staff finds that the project site contains unique site constraints, including its 1.13 acres size, narrow lot configuration, existing residence, septic system, and vegetation, which justify consideration of some variance relief. However, pursuant to KRS 100.243, the burden remains on the applicant to demonstrate that the requested variance represents the minimum relief necessary. While staff finds some hardship exists, the evidence does not support the full extent of the requested 10-foot side yard setback and 13-foot rear yard setback, as the proposed shop could reasonably be repositioned to achieve greater compliance with the zoning ordinance. Therefore, staff finds that the request does not fully satisfy the standards necessary for the approval under KRS 100.243. In terms of findings again, the project site is a 1.13 acre parcel, zone A1, and the property is currently developed with an existing single family residence accessed from Newton Pike. The applicant proposes to construct a detached shop building measuring approximately 32 by 50 feet and request to reduce the required northern side yard setback from 50 feet to 10 feet and the rear yard setback from 50 feet to 13 feet. The site plan demonstrates that the proposed structure could be relocated to provide sufficient side yard setback while complying with the required 50-foot setbacks. Staff finds that while some variance relief may be warranted, the requested 10-foot side yard setback and 13-foot rear yard setback does not represent the minimum relief necessary to allow reasonable use of the property. In conclusion, staff recommends denial of the variance to reduce the required northern side yard setback from 50 feet to 10 feet and the required rear yard setback from 50 feet to 13 feet at the subject property. Should the board approve the application, staff recommends including the following conditions of approval as stated in the staff report. Staff has not received any phone calls or emails opposing this request, and we have received a letter of support from both the adjoining properties at 4188 Newton Pike and 4160 Newton Pike. Does the board have any further questions for the staff?
I'd like to hear from the applicant, some comments from the applicant. Are they here?
Thank you, Tosh.
My name's Joe Beagle, it's my wife Jennifer. Thank you guys for your time. Yeah, we were requesting this variance. We purchased this property in December. Our initial plan was to build a shop. I mean, when we bought this property, we went out and looked at it, looked at the land, the way it laid. I was like, hey, I can build one here. I built one a few years ago in adjoining county, Harrison County. I worked with their setbacks and everything. And I did not know I was in a A1, 50-foot setback. Because the shop, my design of my shop is where the width of it with the garage doors in the front. So if I'm building a 52-foot shop and 126-foot wide, it just doesn't fit. So the way the property is also sloped in the back, in that back corner, that is, it kind of slopes down and it starts to level off right at the end. So basically due to the leach lines, the layout of the property, the mature trees, that is the only place for a shop. And if it's denied, we'll just have to sell.
Are the trees just not in green on there?
No, the trees are not on there at all.
Okay, my eyes just, I just let the
Yeah,
eye
there's
doctor, but I'm like,
three
am
huge
I
trees.
There are
not
lots
seeing
of
it?
huge trees
Okay.
back here.
There's one there.
And the building, that building is over here.
Yeah, I moved the building in
Yeah.
anticipation to build the shop. So I moved the little building myself.
It was a small building, nothing that's there, and it's now over here, but we have huge trees.
So we don't have another building?
There's even one up there that's not on there for
Yeah.
some reason. So, and we did not know that there was such a setback on 1
Yeah.
acre.
So there's another building there.
Yeah, it's a little, like a little
A small
10 by
one.
12-foot building.
It was already there though.
Mhm.
It's there.
It's like a little portable building.
Yeah.
It's there, it's just covered up.
Got slip
It's got skids on it.
That you can move it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Like a chicken coop.
It's like the lawnmower fits in it. That's
Yeah.
all.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we want to get a chicken coop as well.
Well, I just say that. We had at Southern States, we used to you could take a fork truck and put it under there and move them around.
Oh, we can want to do that.
Yeah.
That's what we do for a living.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's portable.
And both neighbors have signed off. And we
Yeah.
asked them to come if we knew that was necessary. But
Yes.
They have both signed off and said it was okay.
And it's in the, where it's in the back of the property, from Newtown Pike, you probably can't even see it, the way it kind of slopes down. You might see a little bit of the roof.
Okay, does anybody have any further questions?
Charlie, you see any issues?
Well, it looks like there's plenty of room for it, other than, with such a severe variance.
But there's a
Again,
building.
Can you even get 50 foot on both sides, even if you put it in the
No.
center?
That's another thing, I'm having a hard time visualizing just how small the lot is, but
Yeah, it's only 126 feet wide. And the building's gonna be 52
That
feet
is
wide.
narrow.
So
52 feet?
it's not, if I go in 50 feet each side, then my building's gonna be 26 feet.
It's typically not just 1 acre in the A1, zone A1
Yeah.
areas, but that's all it is.
Yeah, most of it's 5 acres, except for like the grandfathered in stuff.
Yeah.
Where a
Yes.
house used to sit on it.
Yes. Yeah, because this house was built in 73,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
72.
I didn't.
So I know the people next to us, they knew the owners that did the house.
So the
It was-
letters-
It was all farmland.
The
and it's
letters
just-
are from your
Yes.
left
Yes.
and right. Okay.
Yes.
We have them. Do you
And the
have them?
people
You have
behind,
them?
I have two
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in here.
The
Yeah.
only 2 properties that affect.
because it's a L shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 4160, it goes around into the back.
Mhm.
And then the 4188 is just that one side.
Yeah. And there's a lot, a 5-acre lot that is beside the 10-foot one. And he's got a house on the 5-acre lot beside it, and he owns also the 5-acre lot that there's no house built on it. So he owns both of it, and he was like, he said, it's fine.
Yeah.
He said, it's gonna be back in the back, because my intentions was, once it was built, I was gonna put a line of, those little cedar trees along the side to help cover it up. So all he's gonna see is cedar trees, just for a little privacy.
We can always add that to the petition. to the conditions of approval.
Staff?
Yeah, if I may just add just two small things. Number one is, again, the staff report recognizes that there may need to be some sort of relief for the northern part of the property, but 10 feet is very close. Even if it is just an acre and a little bit more than that, 10 feet is pretty close to the property line. The second thing is right now the applicant is suggesting this is a 50 by 32. Obviously, we're looking to grant some sort of relief for this. It could just be that 50 by 32 is too big for that parcel. You know, again, we're being asked to bend. You know, we want to make sure, again, is that in the consideration for the least amount of relief that we can give here.
Mr. Beagle, could you go with a smaller size?
Smaller size?
Yes.
I mean, our house doesn't have a garage.
Yeah, so it's gonna be storage also.
Storage for our vehicles.
Yeah.
You're not gonna operate a business out of it?
No, no, ma'am.
No. He retires next year.
I'm getting ready
He
to
has our own
retire.
truck he's gonna restore.
Yeah, basically what it's for.
So,
It's storage.
I don't see, oh, there's the doors, two doors, one main door.
It's, the shop itself is 32 by 40. It's gonna have a 12-foot overhang on the side. If, I don't know if the pictures show that. That, it doesn't?
Terry, will that be enough? I'm assuming he wants to heat it.
Yeah.
To
The
fit
one
back
cover
here,
page.
the tank.
Yep.
Will this be heated, the garage, you gonna have it heated?
Will it be heated? By a little kerosene heater.
Oh, okay, well, I was asking because like if you have it that close, there's usually, like if you wanted to do propane, you know, you've gotta be so far off of stuff. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, it's just a little kerosene heater, that's all it's gonna be.
Where's your septic and leach?
The leach lines are right
It's right here.
in behind the house. I
Right
think
here.
she's got it up right there. Yeah, they're right there. And there, and you can see where all the trees are. So basically, that is the only area, and the way it's sloped, it's the best area.
I mean, I don't know.
Any other further questions for Mr. Beagle?
Charlie, you need to
Okay.
comment?
He's dead.
We need some easier ones coming through here. That's my only comment. Yeah, it's understandable. I just
think so.
I just have a hard time. I hate to use the word huge. And in fact, I'm probably not even the right person to even talk about it. That just seems like a really big shop.
Shop can never be big enough.
No, that's,
It probably isn't, but it seems like it. Of course, I have no room in my house, so I probably need a shop the same size.
you don't wanna come any farther away from it because the tree would then be in front of the main door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That's just awfully close to the property line.
I agree, it is, but.
Think about it, on this
well-
deal right here, you're not gonna get that 50-foot variance on either side of it.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
There's absolutely no way.
no.
No, some relief, I think, well, as Holden was saying, some relief, of course, is understood. That's just an awfully large building that's awfully close to the property line.
well, I was like, I see the tree on this side, like the L-shaped side, and I'm like, could it come closer that way? But then you're still 13 feet off the back, and then you would be even closer to the the rear setback, because the diagonal of the property line, right? Okay. Elise is giving me a yeah. No, you're just bobbing. Okay. You see what I'm saying, Holden? Like if he came further towards the L-shaped parcel, then that diagonal right there would be
It would
closer
be
for the rear
closer.
setback, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
and
have an issue both ways?
That's part of the issue is
Okay,
we're looking
okay.
at 10 feet from one side and 13 feet from
Right.
the other.
And then it will decrease the setback
Yes.
when he goes further away from the side, right?
And
Jeez Louise.
again, you know, staff has made our recommendation, it is denial. I understand wanting to preserve trees, but eventually too, I mean, if we're looking at the layout of the parcel, you know, we've got to find some sort of middle ground for this, because it just can't be, the ordinance is always expected to accommodate everybody's desires, and we're asking very little of the applicant in this circumstance. It's a small lot, it's a big shop, and there's a couple trees out there. Where we come to on this, you know, we just have to balance those things.
I didn't get my packet in time to go out and visit these sites, and I take
I don't
issue
know
with
that we could have seen
And
that,
I'm
though.
trying to wrap my mind around what the shop would look like on that property.
The pole barns look good.
It's gonna be white, you know, with the black skirting
Them
across the
burner
bottom.
garages, dude.
You wouldn't be able to see it
It's
from
not
the road.
aesthetics with
you
me, I'm
might
just
see
trying
the
to
roof from the road.
understand.
I'm sorry, what did
You
you?
wouldn't really be able to see much of it from the road,
No.
the way the property is.
That's what I was
That's,
telling you.
that's not the issue.
That's the reason for the slope.
Oh.
The reason is back in that corner, is just because of the slope.
So this-
Because I thought about bringing it up a little bit, but it was just, I was just going to take trees out, huge trees.
Yeah. That tree closest to the building
That's
that you
where
got proposed right there, is it a pretty good sized tree?
It's the smallest circle, that's what
The
I was gonna
smaller one?
ask.
No, the one up there by your building, where you got your building at.
The one that would be in front of the door,
Oh,
no.
next
keep-
one. No, one up
No,
top.
Joe, by the building.
There you go.
Maple.
No, that's the oak tree.
Is it oak?
Yeah, these two are maple, that's pine. No, really,
What are you,
it's a pretty good sized tree. It's probably 50 foot tall. It's a
Yeah.
very mature tree. It's probably,
All I was trying to do is just say maybe.
Couple feet in
you can
diameter.
pull that forward and back off that property line just a little bit to try to get some more distance in between it. I mean, there's no way you're gonna get 50 feet though.
no.
That ain't
You
happening.
might get a couple because of the way the slope is.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
It's the slope.
Okay.
I saw the topography map.
Any further questions? Okay, we'll call for a vote.
Charlie, you have any other comments before we?
Even with the removal of one tree and then you come in, it's still not gonna be
It's not
that.
ready.
Well, ordinarily, you know, I don't like removing trees. If it's that size, I certainly don't like removing that.
It's big.
That's just an awfully large building on an awfully small lot. As I said, I don't know that I'm going to even mention that because it sounds like it's probably a luxury to have a building that size to put stuff in,
Well,
and be able to walk around
it's
the
only
house.
2 garage doors and a man door.
Yeah.
It's really.
There's 12 foot, it's just gonna be like, the roof's gonna extend out 12 foot. It's
Terry,
like
how big's yours?
50
Cardboard on
foot,
the
my,
side.
my garage is 96 feet long
That's what I was gonna
by
say.
50
His
feet
is like a
wide.
barn.
And it ain't big enough. I'm just telling you.
You gotta take each one.
I'm trying, I don't know
If-
how much big I was.
If I didn't have the 12 foot carport, it would be I'd be up here with 32 by 40. It's just the 12 foot carport.
Toshi, will you go back to the one that has everything on there? Please, ma'am. Thank you. So it wouldn't. You, even if you, well, if you came forward from the rear setback, then you would have more relief on the side setback because that line is also diagonal. You'd be closer to the tree on the side of the building though,
Yeah.
so.
I've been out there many times with my tape and tried to find a better spot, and that's
And the topography doesn't really shift.
Could you, if we give you time to think about it and bring it back next month, do you think you might come up with a smaller design building,
smaller design.
smaller?
Charlie, what if you went closer to the
Size.
tree?
Give you time to think
I
about it,
could,
see what you could do?
I love a good pole
I could get a
barn, but
couple
that's really
feet,
close.
but it's just a couple feet. I couldn't get that much out of it. I don't know how much more you want. Are you wanting 20 foot?
How far
30
is that
foot?
tree from that building?
It's probably gonna be 40 feet,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Because you see it right here, it's
That would relieve,
I'm gonna put a,
that would relieve both of those,
20
the
foot
side and the
concrete
rear.
slab in front of it. So I'd say if that tree is probably gonna be 20 feet from the concrete slab.
And 40 foot from the building.
Yeah.
You gain rear setback and side though. They're both diagonal. So like, I don't know why you don't go that way more. I understand that makes your.
You mean this way more?
Yes, uh-huh.
That's because of the slope.
Okay, well, it just doesn't look like it's huge.
We got
I
a
don't
call
know.
for a vote.
Yeah.
We don't.
There's a slope in the tree.
Due to the size of the building, I make a motion to deny, based upon the staff's recommendations.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
He's recommended denial
Yep.
based on
So
staff.
motions to deny?
Yes. Do I hear a second?
That's very hard. I just wish that we could move it forward some and then give some relief to that variance.
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay, we ask a question.
Would you like to speak? You swore in.
I would just like to suggest a dimension for that pole barn that might meet both your needs. Could it, instead of being 52 wide, could it be 32 wide and 52 long and move it closer towards your leach line? And it would be off your property line in both directions.
That changes the whole design of the building. I thank you, but yeah, it's just the way the doors are coming in for the shop. It's just the design I've chosen. I've had it in another county. It laid out perfect and it worked perfect. I really wanted to go with the same thing.
He's built the same shop before on a different property in Harrison County.
Yeah.
We got a motion on the floor.
When we purchased this
Second.
property, I did not,
Why don't we meet in the middle? or
with intent
forward?
the building is.
Motion on the floor. Should we discuss it?
Okay.
Okay, so we don't have a second. So the motion fails. Do I hear another motion?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Aye.
Could we beef that motion up those little bit as reasons why?
The reasons why is because it's, you can't get 50-foot easement on both
On
sides.
either side.
That 32 by 52 is not that big. It's not, I mean, everybody's, y'all saying that that's a huge garage, but it's not.
So if I put in your motion, it's a reasonably sized garage?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And it's just for storage.
Okay, so motion carries.
If we could work on his motion just a moment more.
Yep, okay.
Including then the mature trees?
Yes.
And the slope.
So small lot, reasonably sized garage, mature trees,
And a slope.
and slope, and that's a reasonable use of the
Landscape
property.
slope, yeah.
Now, based on that, Mr. Chair, if you'd call for a vote, we've got a little meat on it.
Okay, well, we need to revote since we got an addition there. So, all in favor?
Of your motion to
Of your
deny
motion
or
or
pass?
to
I'm so
deny
sorry.
or approve.
Well, mine was denied, was,
Right,
there was
okay.
no vote on it, so.
So to approve.
Yes, that's what we already did.
Yep.
Okay, so what,
Okay.
All right, let me read it to you, Jack.
He's adding a
So,
recommendation.
so the motion is to approve based on it being a small lot, reasonably sized garage, mature trees, slope, and that this is ultimately a reasonable use of the property.
Yeah.
That is permitted by this variance.
We need another second?
I was gonna say, I can second again.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I second. Is that what we're waiting on? I seconded
I've
the
got
first
that.
time.
I've got
Okay,
that.
okay.
no,
Well, Rachel asked too, like, am I like,
Do we need another
I'm so
one?
lost right
I don't know
now.
what's happening.
Is it all good, Charles?
It's all good.
Yes.
Okay, so we're ready.
Yes, so.
Good luck
You're
with
good
it.
to go.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We're good.
You can build your garage whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Those are happy tears.
Okay, we're moving on to
My gosh.
S 2026-18 at 485 Sims Pike.
That's on the front.
And
Shake.
back.
Where are we?
Oh, Lord, we're on the We're on the Leestown parcel?
That's one we're on, Leestown.
Sims Pike, okay.
17.
Yeah, we're going back to the first one.
Okay,
Which-
Sims Pike.
wait a minute.
Back to the first one.
2026-18.
Okay, we're going back to the first one.
Right, so this is the application for a conditional use permit for a home occupation for the storage, pickup and drop off of trailers, construction equipments and related materials. The property is of 5 acres, is zoned A1 and is accessed from Sims Pike. Overall, staff recommends approval of this request. Here is the aerial view of the property. And the topography map showing the site sloping towards the front yard where it abuts Sims Pike. Here is the image from the site to elaborate that grade change better, and as you can see, the rear portion of the site is situated at a higher elevation than the front. The property currently contains a gravel parking area which is used for storage of equipments and trailers associated with an off-site operation. Last month in June, the subject property received approval for a variance for the construction of the pole barn accessory structure within the front yard and prior to the establishment of the primary dwelling unit. During discussion of that application, the board determined that the proposed storage and movement of business-related equipments to and fro from the property would constitute an occupation-based activity requiring a conditional use permit approval. So the adjoining A1 property to the south, addressed as 4821 Sims Pike, contains a small-scale retail store that previously received approval for a conditional use permit to operate a home occupation for a farm business in May 2024, as well as approval for a home occupation associated with farm-to-table business operations in January 2022. And here is the image of that adjoining property. Here is an aerial image of the property towards the north, which contains a single family residence. So section 4.12G of the zoning ordinance lists home occupations that exceeds the limitations in the definitions of such as a conditional use within the A1 zoning district. Home occupations in Scott County are intended to remain incidental and subordinate to the primary residence while preserving the surrounding agricultural or residential character. Because this proposal exceeds the standard home occupation definition, the board must determine whether, with appropriate conditions, it remains compatible with surrounding area and satisfies the conditional use permit standards under KRS 100.237. And as per the definition of home occupation according to the zoning ordinance, it's considered as a professional office, studio or personal service maintained by one professional with no staff and conducted within a dwelling or an accessory building. So staff evaluated the application using 3 primary criterias. The first is whether the proposed use remains incidental and subordinate to the principal residential use. Although the proposal exceeds the standard definition of a home occupation, staff finds that no active commercial operations will occur on site beyond the storage of equipments. The residence will remain the principal use of the property, and the accessory structure will serve only as an enclosed storage supporting an off-site business.
Charlie, where's the resident? Where's the resident?
There isn't one. Well, I don't think.
The second criteria is whether the proposed use creates exterior evidence of commercial activity. To this, staff finds that no outdoor storage, signage, customer parking, or other exterior business activities are proposed, with all equipment stored inside the enclosed pole barn with only occasional equipment movement. And lastly, the third criteria is whether the proposed use creates off-site impacts from on-site activity. Staff finds that no manufacturing, fabrication, construction activities, employees, customers, or routine deliveries are proposed, resulting in only minimal equipment movement and limited traffic. So in terms of buffering, as per Section 6.14 of the Landscape and Land Use Buffer Ordinance, property boundary fencing shall be required for all parcels adjoining A1 zoned land, regardless of the subject property zone, when there is an approved change of use, either through the conditional use, variance, or development plan approval process to a use other than agricultural or single-family residential use. A minimum 6-foot high wire fence is required along applicable property boundaries. Staff finds that the proposed home occupation is subject to these buffering requirements. However, because the southern property adjoins an existing commercial use, staff recommends limiting the required fencing to the frontage along Sims Pike and the portions of the northern property line as shown in the yellow dotted line surrounding the approved pole barn and equipment storage area. As per our site visit, the first half of the northern property line marked as A on the map already has metal fence with barbed wire, and the remaining portions marked as B has dense tree coverage that acts as natural buffer between the two properties. This is a reference image provided by the applicant that shows the intended appearance of the proposed pole barn. In terms of findings, again, the project site is a 5-acre parcel zoned A1. Section 4.12G identifies home occupations exceeding standard limitations as a conditional use within the A1 zoning district. The applicant proposes storage and transport of trailers and related equipments associated with an off-site concrete construction business. The project site will function mainly as a storage and residential use, and no manufacturing, fabrication, or processing of materials or retail sales are proposed. No employees or customers are proposed to regularly visit the property. The approved pole barn and future residents comply with the required 50-foot setbacks of the A1 zoning district. The surrounding area is characterized by mainly agricultural uses. The proposed use can be operated in a manner compatible with surrounding properties through appropriate operational and design conditions. With compliance with the conditions of approval, the proposed use will not adversely affect public health, safety, or welfare. Overall, staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit to allow a home occupation for the storage, pickup, and drop-off of trailers and related equipment, subject to standard conditions of approval, with additional conditions starting at number 6, which states that the approved use shall be limited to the storage, pickup, and drop-off of trailers and related equipments associated with the applicant's off-site concrete construction business. Number 7 is for no retail sales, customer services, activities or similar commercial operations shall occur on the property. No business-related vehicles, trailers, equipments or materials shall be parked or stored within any public right-of-way, and all materials shall be stored within the approved pole barn structure when not actively being transported to or from a job site. Number 9, no outdoor storage or waste shall be permitted. The pole barn shall maintain an agricultural appearance compatible with the rural character of the area. Vehicle and principal entry doors shall face the adjoining southern property and be oriented away from the public roadways and adjoining agricultural properties. No additional paving or expansion of parking or storage areas associated with the approved use shall be permitted without further review and approval by the Board of Adjustment. Business-related activities including the movement of equipment and trailers shall be limited to daylight hours. The approved use shall not expand into a warehouse or other commercial operation not specifically authorized by this approval. And lastly, the applicant shall comply with all requirements and limitations set forth by Landscape Ordinance, Section 6.14 for agricultural buffering, especially for the property line that abuts Sims Pike in the front yard and portions of the northern property line surrounding the approved pole barn and equipment storage area.
And just to clarify on that last condition, staff's recommendation is specifically, again, as Toshi pointed out, to require the buffering listed in 6.14 for the fencing to be on the western property line and then along the north in the section that she indicated. Not a fence around the entire 5-acre parcel.
Do we have any further questions for the staff?
How are we issuing a home occupation without a home?
So this, Toshi, I'm going to stand up. So I'll let the applicant speak for themselves, but at this time, staff understands that it is the intent of the applicant to construct the home. Last month, they received a variance to construct a pole barn prior to the home being built. The assumption is that this use would probably be established prior to the home being built, but ultimately, it is their intent to establish the residential use and for that to be primary.
I thought what we did last month was say the rule didn't apply because it wasn't a home.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we said
It
the
wasn't a
front yard.
variance. It wasn't a variance, it didn't apply.
Yeah, it was an interpretation that the front yard
It didn't apply
requirement
because
didn't
there's no
apply here.
home.
Yeah.
And the rule says it's got to be an accessory use to the residential principal purpose of the property.
Yeah.
Well, there isn't one.
Yeah, as Ms. Holland pointed out earlier tonight, sometimes the board gets to make decisions like this, and we'll leave it at that.
I wish that there was
Anybody
a different
representing the applicant?
Yes, Kami Catalyst representing the property owner. Again, we appreciate the opportunity to build the storage structure, and that is our intent. We did just obtain the building permit, so we are ready to proceed. But just for protection, I guess, and making sure we comply, if we were to hook up a trailer and pull out with a skid steer, at least we would be legally doing so with a conditional use permit, and there wouldn't be any more questions or concerns. I think that's the only reason we're looking for this. As far as residential home occupation, it's simply a desk space which was used for personal as well as business invoices, so it's not going to have customers coming and going or...
I've got a question.
Yes.
Okay. I'm familiar with concrete business, and on number 9, one of the conditions of approval is no outdoor storage of equipment, materials, supplies, trailers, construction-related items, debris or waste shall be permitted. So is that three-door pole barn is going to be sufficient for all the equipment and materials and supplies and trailers?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And it has been carefully measured to ensure so. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's-
Any further questions of the applicant?
You're good on this kind of stuff. Terry, if you've got any comments, you can.
Sounds good to me.
I make a recommendation of approval, a motion of approval
All right.
based upon the conditions that staff has put, the 14 conditions of approval.
My problem isn't that you want to do that. I don't think that we should be doing it for what it's labeled as, a home occupation. That's my thing. I think it belongs in its own. Maybe we don't have that yet. Maybe that's something we need to consider. But like, there's not a residence there. I could intend to win the lottery. I may not. Like, you don't get a speeding ticket before you get in the car. I don't know. I don't.
You can
want-
add that to the conditions of approval if you like.
What, that they don't build it till they build their home?
No, that
No, that
they
they
have to
build
build
one.
it.
Staff would have real concerns about requiring them to build a home. It would seem more prudent if the board desires to tie the operation of the home occupation to the construction of a home and have those run concurrent or something to that effect. Because I do understand the concern that a home occupation were to occur without a home.
One suggestion I've got, law requires us, when it's feasible, to review these things on at least an annual basis. So the witness says she's got the building permit for the home?
For the pole barn, just received, you all approved
Oh, okay,
last
because I think
month.
last month, I thought you said you had gotten the septic tank
We got
evaluation
the septic
done.
evaluation approved, yes.
Okay, but not a building permit for the home. What's
I got the building permit for the pole barn after your blessing, so I just received the building permit
Okay. What's your
yesterday.
timetable for trying for the building
Within the
permit for
year.
the home?
Within the year. We
Anyway,
wanted to get,
It has to be, well, it's supposed to be reviewed. Obviously, we've got 1,000 things to review, but it's supposed to be reviewed within the year. It's very possible, since that's the anticipation and that's the basis of this. If that's underway at the time, then maybe you're okay. If it's not underway at the time, then that really doesn't look much like a home occupation.
If there's not a home there, it's A1 parcel, and like you've gonna build a barn on it, like I don't understand why we need the home occupation.
Well, that's just it. It's the same thing I said last time. I don't think you do.
That's what-
Because I
I'm
think
just
you can
saying,
put a
you're a
barn
barn on
on
an
any
A1
property you
parcel.
want.
I'm so
And if it's used for personal stuff as well as the guy's driving home, well, no, he's not driving home, but putting some concrete in there and that sort of thing, I think that's probably your right to do so. I think probably the prudent way the staff is looking at it is, it's kind of nice to have some rules on how this property is used, because we don't want it developing into a commercial site. So if we say they can do it without any approvals, then they also don't have any restrictions on them. If we say you can do it with these restrictions, that may keep us from, suddenly developing another outlaw commercial use.
If you have an A1 parcel and we aren't gonna let people have barns, then you say you've got one that only has a tractor and they only do business when they're out in the field, which I know that you understand that, then they're going and parking it. It's no different than what you're doing for storage, right? You're not gonna do concrete on that, right?
no, only during
And
the
you have a
construction
two-bay
of-
garage that you're gonna build, right? So how much traffic can fit in a two-bay garage?
I thought it was a 3, isn't it?
I thought she said 2. Am I wrong?
It's 2 to 3, yes.
Okay.
Depending on the door.
Okay.
I mean, the picture
Proposes 3.
But I mean, I'm just
Proposes
saying.
3, right?
I just don't even know that she belongs in front of us to build a barn on an A1 parcel.
We've got the,
So the building is not the issue. It is the use of the building that is at question here.
You think it's more than combines and tractors?
I think it's more than agricultural by what was provided by the applicant. And again, the allowed
don't have
uses
anywhere
in,
else to put it
the
other than
allowed
a
uses in the
home.
A1 are residential and agricultural. This, from what we've seen thus far, has not been described as either.
it's not been described as residential?
The
Or
conditional use
agricultural?
before us, neither. It's a home occupation that exceeds the
Right, but a
definition
home
of
is
such.
a residence,
I'll come to that.
right? I mean, is that redundant?
The application that's currently submitted is for the use of a pole barn as a home occupation. No home has been built, no home has been applied for. There is no established residential use on the property. There is no indication that this pole barn will be utilized to facilitate the agricultural activity on the property. More so, the pole barn has been expressly described as to facilitate the off-site business of pouring concrete. The equipment that's designed to be stored in that building is not for agricultural purposes. It would be a different question if the equipment that was being stored was combines or things that were going to be used on the property for agriculture. But that's not what we have.
I feel like we don't have a home or residence either though, Holden.
And that's
So I'm like, do you rezone it? Is that what she should be doing instead of being in front of us? That's what I'm asking, because there's no home there.
if you don't believe that this meets the definition of a home occupation, then the motion should be to deny.
Okay.
Help, Charlie. Help. This is-
Well, we got a motion on the floor.
Well, I don't think we were ready for that
No.
motion, Tommy. I wasn't.
Well, as I said a minute ago, I do believe that without a home, you don't have a home occupation. On the other hand, again, as I said a minute ago, by proving it this way, you've got some restrictions, questionable perhaps how enforceable that might be, but some restrictions that would keep this from turning into another kind of outlaw commercial thing that's not supposed to be there. Whereas on the other hand, if we treat it as we did last time, you can build a barn and go right on, well, then it just might get bumped up and become that commercial thing. So this allows some restrictions on it. It kind of puts pressure, I hope, on the applicant to go ahead and build the home. So I guess my thinking is, if I were going to be strictly legal, I would say no, it's not a home occupation. On the other hand, trying to be very careful about what goes in there so we don't end up with yet another outlaw commercial thing where it shouldn't be. I'm not so sure I don't like the idea of approving it with those conditions on it, and that might just be enough incentive so that they build their house and it ends up being a residence with a guy doing some of his work in the garage or some
Point down the road, we have got to hire an employee to police these applications that we approve, that we've got some trepidation about.
In defense of staff, you've hired several employees who that is their job. We do see to the review of conditional use permits. I would also just like to alleviate any concerns that the board or the public may have that if this is denied for a conditional use permit and the applicant were to establish a commercial use in excess of the allowances within the zoning ordinance, staff would be more than happy to enforce the regulations within our zoning ordinance. And that is the duty and responsibility of the planning staff.
But how many times have I heard you all say you don't have time to do things because, and I know you're very,
That's all,
very
not
busy.
for myself.
I know
Thank you.
you're very, very busy. So, but I've talked to you about that. We need to have somebody full-time to police these situations, and I'll take that up. Okay.
We have a motion.
Yes. All in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, do we have a second? Did I miss something?
No, we didn't have a second yet.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Again, I would ask, based on staff report.
Yes, based on staff report.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I can't.
Aye.
Tommy,
I
you
guess
said
I'll
yes? You voted aye? You three voted aye?
Yes.
I'll go.
No,
4-1, all right, thank you.
not because I don't
I don't think they
approve of
need
what
it.
you're doing. I just
Oh,
wish
really?
there was another way.
Yeah, right.
there's not a home.
I think Charlie's right, we don't need.
All right, we move on to S 2016-17, administrative review.
Siege Logic has requested to postpone. Staff believes that postponement would be the proper course of action at this time. They have submitted a development plan for review starting on July 1, and so we're taking that into consideration, and we hope to bring this back before you next month.
So this one's been postponed too.
Yes,
When did you all get notice on this?
yesterday.
You didn't get it.
Could we have been notified? So
Yeah.
spend all this time on this and then it gets postponed.
Staff understands that.
Good, till next month?
Good with it.
Next month.
Okay, is there any further business?
Oh, yes, we were going to talk about postponements,
Yeah.
continuances.
Ma'am?
So well-timed discussion. Currently, the bylaws for the Scott County Board of Adjustment does not include any provisions related to the postponement of applications. We do have similar language for the Georgetown-Scott County Planning Commission. Mr. Perkins has been so kind as to put together some draft language for consideration for adoption by this board to add to the bylaws. The one thing that staff would potentially advise the board is a minimum time to request that postponement. As was discussed just mere moments ago, we received the request for postponement, I believe, yesterday for C-Logic, and was it also yesterday?
Oh, my God.
For the Willoughbys.
Willoughby was,
Yeah, it was yesterday, because I got a copy of it.
Yeah. Very little time to inform the public or yourselves that there is potentially going to be a change to the agenda. And so that may be additional language for consideration within this text. But bylaws just require a simple motion by the board to amend them, correct?
Yeah, well, actually, Elise was reading it to me, because I didn't have it in front of me. But I thought she read that it required it to be presented 1 month and then voted on the next.
It's presented 1 month and then it's voted on.
Yeah.
So we can put it as an agenda.
Yeah, so we're just, to do it, maybe discuss it today, and then, but put it on the agenda for next month.
If it is the board's pleasure, we can add it to the agenda for the August meeting for inclusion at that meeting after. Potentially with the amendments.
Now, if I might make one comment on the time for notification. In fact, Elise and I discussed this today. As far as the Planning Commission goes, I don't like that as an additional requirement, because we quite often discuss things at workshop. People say, we'll get that done for Thursday night, and then either they don't get it done for Thursday night or it's still in process. Anyway, I don't think that notice requirement is a good thing there, because the timetable's too tight. Here, however, assuming all the notices and everything's done here, having it a week ahead of time so that people can be notified, I think is a good idea.
I think that's
But it's just, I think it's different at P and Z, but here I think that, say, a week is probably a very good idea.
That needs to be added to this.
And that would be added to this, yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
And if so, then we put that on next time, we add that sentence to it, unless you've got some other suggestions.
So that one can't be refiled for 6 months, but they can change the scope of it, alter an application, and then reapply a different way. Like say I have 3 donkeys, and that was on the first application. I have a donkey farm, and then I put it to 2, then it can be heard for 2, right?
I believe that would be a 33% reduction, and using animal math, that would be sufficient.
And that would probably be sufficient.
Okay.
Whether we think so in human math or not.
Okay.
And if that's the case, that's all we need to do, unless you all have other things to discuss on that particular subject.
So can we make a motion on this right here and then add to it?
No, there's no
Just
need.
simply, you've been given it, we've discussed it, and it'll be on the agenda next time for a vote.
I would just request that staff add it to the agenda for next month.
Okay, that's fine.
So
Yes.
Yes.
Any further business? Didn't you have some business?
We won't discuss it here.
Okay. All right. And then do I hear a motion to dismiss? Adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Aye.